How you doing? He's trying to kill a fruit fly in my house.
Now everyone knows where we are. Great. They're going to look at the background and analyze it.
I'm going to say, oh, this is actually Ayala's third time being in the video.
Is she here?
No, right in the...
On the picture?
Yeah.
Is everyone in camp? Is there anyone in the house?
There's no children in the house. My wife is upstairs.
Oh, okay. Fine.
So don't say blasphemous things.
Blash?
Blasphemous. Yeah, blasphemous.
Okay, so I shouldn't scream. Is
You
she
can
sleeping?
scream as loud as you
Is she
want.
sleeping? Might be. So, we gotta just keep it low.
No,
Remember the surroundings.
Don't sit there.
I did want to say something. So first of all, we do have Waterloo sparkling water.
Mm-hmm.
Although someone gave me, it's called bubala. It's like a Jewish seltzer.
Saw that guy
and I'm
marketing it by you.
Yeah, he asked me and I said I'm going to put it on display for a couple of episodes. Why not? God bless.
Okay.
And then I drank them all and I didn't have any. So I have to go buy, but I think they're local.
Where can somebody buy it?
I think Seasons of Gourmet Glad, they sell them.
All right, cool.
But a word's a word. And bird is the word. I did want to say a couple other things. We are learning Masechtas Yoma. I've been doing this Gemara by myself, and it's Geshmakeh, but I would benefit from a pen and a paper because it's the Chachamim versus Rabbi Akiva, and I want to try to cheshbon ice with a little bit of a chart that I could have, I could have went through ChatGPT and be like, hey, this Gemara, make a chart for me, and I think it would have done a nice job, but I think I can scratch that out and do the Amelis part of it, and I think I would benefit from it instead of being spoon-fed. Similar to how the yeshivish people bash Art Scroll, or as you say, blash.
Good one. So you're saying, I got it. This is taking the art scroll and then further art scrolling it.
Yeah. The reason I use art scroll is because even with my mail list, I wouldn't get the learning. But now that I have the learning, I do feel it's within my ability to make the chart and not rely
That's
on
why I don't use
further
Corin.
Corin is
By the
not
way,
spoon-fed.
after you left, I saw N doesn't refer to note N. N means notes.
Yeah.
H meant halacha, and then there was maybe something else for image. It just says which section to go to, and then you just have to know. Oh, you're on that word. It bolds the word.
Oh, got it. Oh, that's interesting.
You don't number it.
It's like a whole different ecosystem, you know. It's like kilometers and miles, and pounds. And
so would you like me to get you some pen and paper?
Yeah, one paper. I always like one paper on another paper, but I have the art scroll. There's always something nice to write when there's a paper under a paper.
Yeah, we get you a bug.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. We'll be right back.
I'll be here. I'm gonna make a bracha for the crowd. 0 calories, 0 sugar. Waterloo sparkling water. I have cherry limeade. He has peach. It's naturally flavored with other natural flavors. That is a red flag. It says it says naturally flavored with other natural flavors. Just say naturally flavored with other natural flavors. What do these fancy words mean? Not liking it. Not liking that. Has an OU. Then it has other symbols. I wonder if that's Muslim hashgachas. We don't know what that is.
Gluten-free.
We do. What's that?
Oh, vegan?
Oh.
Certified vegan.
He didn't see. Certified vegan?
Yeah.
And the BPNI is
BP.
Muslim halal.
Whole30 approved, that's a diet. Non-GMO project, verified. Oh, it's verified. Okay.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'hakol niyeh b'dvaro.
Amen. Now, for the listeners at home, I don't think you make the amen.
Yes, he's going to be... Yes, that's true. I believe so, according to the one second. He's going to be it took 5 minutes to even start learning. It doesn't always work like that.
Exactly.
You need to settle in. This is also, we haven't learned together we've been learning, but we haven't learned together in a few days, so there needs to be some level of rekindling.
Although I will say that Ellie's wearing the same shirt. Have you been wearing the same shirt since we?
No, but I do like this shirt. So if it's fresh out of the wash, I pick it up.
That's like the first one. It's your go-to. If it's in the closet.
Yeah. I will say I did want to learn, and after like 12 years, I came to Benjamin's house, and I heard him say, if Ellie would continue learning for another 12 years. So I was like, oh, Retifa, I gotta go.
Got it. 12 plus 12 does not equal 24.
He brought me 2 pens.
Because
there's an Indian in that. Okay.
Ooh, we got lefty power.
I'm going to Dave Ramsey next week and interviewing the mental health guy there. Also, Dr. John Deloney, who's a lefty. I might bring that up, but then I realized he might be. I'll be like, oh, my fellow lefty, and then he'll be like, politics. But so I have to figure out how to.
Maybe if he picks up a pen or picks up his drink, you can make. That's when
he picks it up with the right hand, because lefties don't necessarily drink with. Do you?
I actually open bottles lefty.
Really?
Yeah.
What leg do you kick with?
Right, definitely.
Me too.
So,
I have hip dysplasia, so.
Wow, if you have like a 4-minute conversation with this guy and Dave Ramsey about like his
I can't. I get like 45 minutes of runtime. I have to be super calculated that way. Because any other guest, I'm like, I'll talk about anything.
Can you give us one question that you're for sure asking?
Yes. Marriage. How to communicate finances, spouses, like create good habits early on with communication. That's for certainly one.
But my question to you is, I bet he's answered that. How are you going to ask it specifically for the firm community?
I don't know necessarily that particular question needs that. Although there will be some questions that I have, like 9 questions that I sent them beforehand, that are some are Jewish centric.
Okay.
Societal pressures, things like that. Also, the fact that he's answered it in the past is not like 99.999% of the world didn't see the answer.
Right, exactly.
So my goal with these types of things is find. I mean, even on this one I did, but like Romanis Friedman has 2 million views on YouTube. Most of what he said was on other clips, and I just went through it, and I'm like, that's amazing. Oh, that's amazing. And then I just
want your viewers to see that.
Right.
I get it. I like that episode, but guess what? I never watched his stuff outside of yours stuff. So. Okay, so where are we starting from?
I would start from the Gemara on Yud Daled Amud Aleph. I've been through this Gemara a few times.
Okay.
So you take it. Just to remind the audience, our Mishnah clearly maintains that the Kohen Gadol was permitted to perform priestly functions during the week of his sequestration. Based upon this, the Gemara seeks to determine the author of the Mishnah, who says that the Kohen Gadol is allowed to perform these avodas during the 7 days before Yom Kippur.
Okay. So Amar Rav Chisda like Rabbi Kiva. It's not Rabbi Kiva. The Rabbi Kiva ha'amar tahar shenafal al hazah. If a tahar person got the sprinkling of the mechadas, the water, the Parah Aduma ashes, timatu, they become tameh. It's actually this week's parsha, Chukas. Since we know that the Kohen Gadol is sprinkled with these purification waters during his week of sequestration, how, according to Rabbi Kiva, could he do the avodah during this time? He's likely tahar, gets the sprinkling that would make him tameh, and then you can't become tahar until you go to mikveh that night. The Tanya, as we learned in a brisa, bihiza hatahar al hatameh, that the tahar shall sprinkle it upon the tameh. From the verses, inclusion of the superfluous word tameh, we may derive al hatameh tahar, el hatahar tameh. Divrei Rabbi Kiva. Kiva teaches us this enigmatic principle that if you sprinkle the ashes and water of the Parah Aduma, you actually, and your tahar, become tameh. What? Why is this? How is this possible? Chayk. This is one of the reasons why. So it's chukas hatayra.
Yitzi actually posted to his status yesterday the idea of the chok.
I screenshot it because I didn't have time to
Oh,
look
wow.
at it.
Yeah.
But then I wanted to look back at it, so I screenshot it because it looked in depth, and I didn't have the time, and I didn't want to lose the 24-hour
I think
window.
the gist of it was that it's not our job to even ask. Like, it's our job just to accept. That's the gist that I remember, but I could be wrong. So sprinkle on tahar tameh, sprinkle on tameh tahar.
Yeah.
That's Rabbi Akiva.
V'chachamim meirim, no, ein devarim halalu amurim el b'devarim kavam tuma. The sprinkling procedure described by the Torah apply only things that are susceptible to tuma contamination. From the point of view of halacha, sprinkling is said to have taken place only when the act is performed upon something that is susceptible to tumah. If, however, one sprinkled the ash mixture on something not susceptible to tumah, like an animal, then the act does not have the legal character of sprinkling. The practical significance. I'm in note 15, sorry.
Okay, yeah.
The practical significance of this is as follows. As a general rule, the Parah Aduma or its ashes may not be used for general work purposes. Indeed, if they are subjected to work, they become disqualified for use in purifying corpse tumah. Thus, when one dabs some ash mixture with the hyssop branch, and for some reason that act is not legally classified as sprinkling, it instead becomes classified as work, the result of which is that any ash mixture remaining on the hyssop branch becomes disqualified. Should this occur, that remaining ash mixture must be removed from the hyssop branch, and the branch must be immersed again in the vessel containing the sprinkling water. Only then can any other persons or vessels be treated with it. Okay, so where are we going with this? So mahi. So what therefore emerges from the halachas, from the chachamim's position on this? Because it's not skaven lahazais al behema. If one intended to sprinkle.
So hold on. Before that, so the chachamim work better for our Mishnah, right?
Yeah. The question was, we said it's not Rabbi Kiva, right? Because Rabbi Kiva, that the Kohen Gadol all week is now just becoming tameh.
But the Gemara didn't speak out and say okay, we're focused on how it's not Rabbi Akiva.
Correct.
I would imagine the Gemara later on, I didn't get that far, will at some point say it fits like the chachamim. Or not. When you learned that, you're like, oh, okay, so the Mishnah's like the chachamim, or you were like, oh, okay,
meaning
it's not
it
like
fits.
Rabbi Akiva.
No, I guess I was thinking you're right, and it fits according to Chachamim, because the Chachamim just don't have that view. I mean, Rabbi Kiva's position is the more, he's the one that is very different, and therefore it's not going to stem with the Mishnah.
Right.
But other positions have no issues, and stemming with the Mishnah. All right, so Mahi. So what halacha comes out from the Chachamim? Because it's not. Niskaven lahazis al behema. If one intended to sprinkle the waters on the behema, bihiz al adam, but he instead sprinkled the Parah Aduma waters upon a person. Im yesh ba'ezav. If there's still some of the waters remaining on the hyssop branch that was used for sprinkling, yishna, he may use that remaining mixture again, meaning he may sprinkle that remaining portion upon the intended subject to purify him. But niskam lahazis al adam v'hiza al behema. However, if he intended to sprinkle ash mixture upon a person, which I assume that's normally what you would try to do, but he instead sprinkled upon an animal, imish be'ezav, then even if there is some still of the ash mixture remaining upon his branch, lo yishna, he may not use that remaining mixture again, for it has become invalidated. What's going on here? Why is this becoming invalidated? Note 20. The act of sprinkling on the animal is classified as mere work. Thus, the branch must be dipped anew before being used.
Hold on, before that. Start from 17.
7.
If one intended to sprinkle purification waters upon an animal.
Okay, animals, in fact, all living things other than people, are not susceptible to contamination.
Okay, good. So he sprinkled it on a person. Then if there's still some of the waters remaining upon the hyssop branch, go 18.
Okay, the 18th is going to talk about the hyssop branch a bit more. These are the slender stems that grow from the top of the hyssop stalks. Ooh. And they're topped by the seed pod. According to the Torah, these stalks are dipped into the sprinkling waters, and the waters then sprinkled from them upon the tameh person.
Oh, it's not like a stiff branch, right? It's like, I think I have a visual of some softer type.
We should get some hyssop.
That is where the Koran Talmud probably has a nice photo of it.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Gourmet Glatt, aisle 7. Hyssop.
All right, I love some hyssop right now. The first act of sprinkling the person was ineffective, for the one doing sprinkling failed to have intent to sprinkle the waters upon that person. Nevertheless, since the waters were sprinkled on a person, that act of sprinkling is not classified as mere work, and the ash mixture remaining on the hyssop thus has not become invalidated. As such, there is no need to dunk the hyssop branch a second time into the vessel containing the purification waters before sprinkling again with it. So basically, you don't have to have the intention. Intention is not necessary. However,
That's what I got out of it also.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And therefore, if the first thing you did was putting it on the person, it doesn't disqualify the mixture. However, if you put it on a behema, since putting on behema is work, it invalidates the mixture. Okay, so I think we still have to continue. We didn't bring up our points here.
You did 20 yet or no?
Yeah, we did. I think we did it first. Yeah.
Okay. So, according to the Rabbanon, if you put it on a person, then it can be continued to be used.
But on the
Even
animal,
though he
you
was
have to
tahar.
redip. You got to redip.
Right.
So
but he was tahar, so that's not a problem if you put it on him, according to the Rabbanon. He's not going to become tummy.
Yeah. They didn't talk about anything like that. They didn't say.
But
that.
it says the Gemara clarifies the practical ramifications of this position before the mahi.
Oh, right.
That's what comes out of, because if you hold like Rabbi Akiva, regardless of animal, that once you put it on a person, that's a problem.
So right, because do
you like when I do that? Like I go a little bit deeper into intention.
Deep. Yeah, do it more.
That's what holds me back on Daf Yomi, by the way. Like I need to know, and maybe it's a fault, but like I need to know why the Gemara is doing what it's doing. So I think I would enjoy.
There's more than one way to eat a Reese's.
You did Kinyan Masechta?
I did. It's just the time slot wasn't working for me. It's not easy, and sometimes, whatever. It's
Does the Gemara Rashi tell you?
It's whatever the chabur. Like every chabur is on a different pace and on a different limud. It's not like everyone around the world is learning the same Gemara at the same pace. It's you join a chabura of like-minded and similar abilities, so that you guys could stay on the same pace and have chabrusas that work, and then you only do like a few lines a day so that you get it. It's like 20 minutes. You chazer again and again and again and again.
That's really cool. But like,
there's consistency. You got to go every day.
But at some point, are you like, oh man, I really want to move on right now?
Sometimes that's a struggle. That is
Yeah. So Daf Yomi is the opposite end of that.
Yeah.
Like.
So you should join a Daf Yomi shir and Kiddush Masechta shir, so you get a little bit of both.
That's good.
But what we're doing is combining. We're doing Amud Yomi, although I don't think we've done an Amud yet. But okay, here we go.
We've done multiple blot here.
Yes, okay. You're right.
Why is this guy's trying to put our Chavrusa Shaf down? You guys saw that?
Okay, okay. My time to Rav Kiva. What is Rav Kiva's reasoning? Why does he assert that the purification waters of the Parah Aduma, when sprinkled on a tahar person, make that person tameh?
I just want to write the Chachamim because I wanted to see, because we did the ramification. I didn't put in their box yet. I just want to write, if you don't mind.
Go write it. I have to get a tissue.
Okay. And what I would write that. It's basically.
It doesn't seem like there's a machlekes.
Yes, there is.
Well, I mean, we're seeing two.
What happens when you sprinkle on a tahar? According to Rabbi Kiva, you become tameh. According to Chachamim,
you're right.
You're tar.
You're tar, but they're not even talking about it.
Right. But now
like
it's where it's gonna blow up.
Oh.
Now it's gonna get sprinkled everywhere.
Oh. Let the sprinkling begin. Oh, after this, we could run in the sprinklers.
Like bonus content. Yo, I went to see Inside Out 2.
Yeah.
With my son.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Pretty
good.
So, okay, my kids were asking me to go on, was it Sunday? And, like, someone invited me to their pool. I go, no, we don't, like, it is 90 degrees.
I did
I
not
said-
want to go to a pool that day. My wife's like, "Oh, let's go." I said, "We're not doing a pool.
Why? It was too hot?
It's too humid. I didn't want to be outside." But then people were like, "No, once you go in the pool, it's great."
But this guy's pool, he didn't even have the heater on for 3 weeks. It was actually hot in the pool because his cover like makes it hot. Like at a certain point, I'm like, it's too hot, this pool. You know?
Oh, what? Oh, the heater was on?
The heater has not been on in 3 weeks yet. It was still very hot. Anyway, so my kid wanted to go to Inside Out last Sunday.
Okay.
And I said, no. I said, when it's a rainy day. It's funny. Last summer, I feel like I remember like every Sunday raining. It was a Fridays that it would rain because I couldn't do beach days.
Interesting.
This day I was like, when it rains, I'm down.
Also, the new Minions movie came out.
I saw that. Spoke a little before.
Did you see Inside Out 2? Yaakov posted. It's like it's Pixar's biggest movie ever.
I thought he said it about Inside Out.
Oh, sorry, Inside Out, I meant. What did I say?
It's pretty cool.
What
You know
did I
why?
say?
You said Spoke with me.
Oh, sorry.
You know why? Because they had anxiety in there. Everyone is into anxiety these days, you know?
Interesting. And I couldn't figure out in the beginning why they made the character look so crazy, but then it makes so much sense in hindsight.
Like that's what anxiety would look like if it was
Yeah,
had a face.
yeah, because it doesn't stem well with everything else, and that's part of the Indian in that it's such it's like overwhelmingly visual. Like you made it so big, and I'm like, that's not the
Also, I mean, I didn't see it, but from the trailer, it seems like in the beginning it's talking so normal, and like it sounds normal, but it looks funny, right? And then you realize it gets all crazy and it shows its true colors.
He didn't watch it yet, but I think he watched it.
Just saw a trailer.
Pixar, yeah, I love a good Pixar movie. Some of my best. Okay, we'll get this after. Yitzhar's trying.
Very hard. It's kind of working. Okay, my time at Derby Kiva. So why, right? Because the Torah could have simply written, the tahar person shall sprinkle waters upon him, right? V'hiza hatahar alav. What does it say? And sorry. What is the?
It could have said
What is the-
alav.
what
It
is
says
the-
al hatame.
Al hatame, right?
It says if in the
Right, and
nature
if
form.
it would have said that, it would be obvious from the context of the waters being sprinkled on a person who is tummy.
Why are you saying sprinkle the tahar waters on the tummy person? Just saying upon him.
Right? So my al hatame, shma
I don't know what
mina.
you gain so much.
So
Like,
shma
you gaining
mina,
letters?
al hatame tahar. No, what are you gaining? It's like, it's obvious. So,
You have to say alav al hatame, but okay, something.
shma mina al hatame tahar. It's only when one sprinkles ashes upon someone who is tame that the subject of tahar al tahar tame rabbanon. What do they do with the superfluous words upon the tame? Hi, they say that this phrase comes to teach that sprinkling is said to have occurred only on things that are susceptible to tuma, contamination, and alahacha, but for here, and therefore, and what does that mean though? If it's sprinkled on something that's not susceptible to tuma, it could actually disqualify the mixture. Which would basically just said all that.
The mixture?
It would disqualify the leftover that's on the hyssop, and you have to re-dip it. No, do you disagree with that?
Hold on. In Chachamim, they would say that this phrase constitutes sprinkling. They said that only things are susceptible to it, but as here, no, not about that. Oh, hold on. They would have said that this phrase constitutes sprinkling is said to have occurred only on things that are susceptible to tumah contamination. See above note 15.
Yeah, it's basically what we said, that is what they learned from the superfluous al hatame.
Meaning the thing has to be like not an animal.
It can't be an animal.
Right. I thought you meant like the stick.
Sorry. Yeah.
So he says that he learns it out because it says al hatame, Rabbi Kiva, and it's superfluous. Superfluous. Probably spelled wrong. And then, oh yeah, I did. Don't tell him my mora. And then Chachamim say, you'll see why after. It looks a little crazy, but it gets deeper. It gets deeper.
Okay. Aval hacha. But as for here, The situation is because by Rabbi Akiva, where the waters were sprinkled upon an already tahar person, Kal Chaimer teaches that the tahar person retains his status. Im al hatame tahar. Indeed, if sprinkling the waters upon a tameh person renders that subject tahar al tahar, like kol shekeh, shivya kal chaimer. If the water sprinkling makes a person tahar who's tameh, person is tahar, certainly shouldn't make them tahar. He should remain tahar. The Gemara is asking the obvious question that we were all thinking, that this from this new concept, huh? Rabbi Akiva, if you're tahar, you become tameh? That doesn't make sense. If this thing can make a tameh person tahar, then a tahar person, of course he's going to remain tahar.
Just smash Kal Chaimer.
I mean, yeah, it seems simple. Like, I've always heard this concept about, chukas, Aduma, makes the kayin who's doing it.
Why do you think you've heard of it?
Because it's the famous chayk.
Okay. The Gemara is about to ask a question, and I'm curious if that's part of where you've also heard it. Go on, Rabbi Yamin.
Okay. Rabbi Akiva. So what's he gonna?
Right.
What's his
you have
response?
a smash, Rabbi Akiva. You're a sage, but we have a smash Kal Chaimer here.
Yeah. Hainu Tika Amar Shlomo.
Did you feel Shlomo Melch was about to come into the Gemara?
No.
No.
Hainu Tika Amar Shlomo, who's the wisest of all men.
Wisest of all men.
I wonder who's the wisest of all men. Amarti.
All the women.
Kama hi vehi rechaika mimeni. I said I would have become wise, but alas, it is still beyond me. Meaning this was the thing he couldn't understand.
Koheles 7:23.
That is, Shlomo, despite his great wisdom, was unable to explain why a mixture that purifies the tameh has a reverse effect on somebody already tahar. Nevertheless, Shlomo still acknowledges this phenomenon as being genuine. So obviously Rabbi Akiva came after the time of Shlomo HaMelech, but this must have been the view. Rabbi Akiva thus maintains that although Kal Chaimer militates against the notion that the waters render a tahar person
trying to think
tameh,
of like if I was a CNN guest and I'm like, Biden, I'd be like, the Trump camp is militating against that opinion. And I was like,
yeah, against the notion that the waters render a tahar person tameh, still an inexplicable biblical decree mandates that this is the case nevertheless. Yeah, the Kal Chaimer is a good Kal Chaimer. However, this is biblical, and you can't use a Kal Chaimer to go against if the Torah says specifically.
But there is a pasuk leading to the next question of the Gemara. King Solomon had an exclamation of amazement.
Right.
So if you're not going to touch out his dumbfoundedness,
I'm assuming they'll find it on some other amazement thing. Let's see, Rabbanan. So what did they construe King Shlomo's exclamation of amazement? Ooh, that's a great.
Do note 25.
There is a tradition that King Shlomo expressed bewilderment about some aspect of the laws of the Parah Aduma. According to Rabbi Akiva, he puzzled over the ash mixture having the capacity to render tameh someone who was previously tar. The Chachamim, however, hold that the ash mixture has no such capacity. How then do they construe Shlomo's expression of amazement? Hahu lemazeh
as it relates, and the amazement was
within Parah Aduma.
Right.
Hahu lemazeh alav tar. They would argue that verse alludes to the fact that the one who sprinkles the waters and the one upon whom they sprinkle the waters are both tahar. V'noiga bahen tameh, whereas the one who touches the waters is tameh. Whoa. The sprinkling of the waters leaves the sprinkler tahar, for indeed the verse states v'hiza ha-tahar. The tahar person shall sprinkle, implying that even after he sprinkled the water, he is still tahar. Ooh, Rabbi Akiva, what are you going to do with that pasuk? Okay, I don't know. We're going to talk about that. Likewise, it purifies the tameh person from his corpse tama, although it still requires immersion in a mikvah and the setting of sun to complete his tahara. Now, one who touches the sprinkling waters for purposes other than sprinkling them on the one who is contracted tama becomes tame. He must immerse himself in a mikvah and then remains tame until the sun sets. Thus, the very waters that are tame, i.e., they convey tuma to the one who simply touches the water can. The good. I'm tame. However, right, the very waters that are tame leave the sprinkler tar and affect tahara when sprinkled on the one who is tame with corpse tama. According to the sages, this is the anomaly referred to by King Shlomo.
That holy waters make someone tummy just by touching it, if not in the act.
Correct.
Yeah.
Just make sure he's still here. Okay. So
that's
there's still a bewilderment. Like, why would touching
holy waters?
I have a simile. You know how you're not allowed to touch the Sefer Torah. So people take a talis to roll it. Why? Because they say it's become tameh. You touch the Sefer Torah. What? But the Torah is so holy. How could he become tameh by touching a Sefer Torah?
I thought because you're tameh and you can't touch something that's holy.
It's the opposite.
Oh, wow.
I think you become tameh. Now, I think that's a derabbanan. They don't want you touching it because it's something that's special. So if we allowed you to touch it, everyone would just touch it, and then maybe the words would get creased out. So we want to make it that it's like no one should go ahead and touch it so much. Mm-hmm. So we said, you're going to become tameh. And that's why they do that, I think. That's what I've heard. But it sounds similar, Don't touch the waters. So I'm reading Parsha to my son because it's this week's Parsha's Chugas. It's talking about the Parah Aduma. Do you know how many Parah Adumas there were in all of...
5.
Close.
3.
I think I read 8. But I would have thought more, right? But guess what? The first one, you know how long it lasted?
That was the one that Moshe
Rabbeinu's.
A long time.
1,000 years.
Right.
From Moshe until Ezra.
What do you mean Ezra, lasted? The ashes lasted.
They had the water ash mixture, meaning you make a Parah Aduma, you shecht it, you take the ashes. Those ashes would be kept for years. And then they would just take a little bit more ashes, make a mixture, a little bit more ashes. I mean, they kept those ashes safe.
Did it run out or something happened to it?
Well, if it lasted 1,000 years, it doesn't sound like it really ran out.
No, after the 1,000 years. I'm not so sure.
I think that's when there may have been a little bit of turbulence.
Right.
And then when Ezra was Masaka, was it first base of Mikdash, second base of Mikdash? I don't know my history that well. It was like one of those, and they needed a new inaugural Parah Aduma to make Tameh people tar. They found the new Parah Aduma.
Red cow.
But now it makes more sense to me now. I used to think how is it possible? Today there's no perfectly red cow. Back then there were so many. No, they didn't need so many. You shechted that once, and you had the ashes last for a long time.
And also we know from the Tachash, that unicorn-looking animal in which they used the hides for the Mishkan, it presented itself when in need. Mm-hmm. So maybe Hashem isn't creating a Parah Aduma now, even though we used to
because we don't have the base of Mikdash, and we wouldn't be able to do it anyway. So
Hashem doesn't want to tease His holy nation.
Right. Cool.
I really would like Mashiach in our time, like the base of Mikdash. I think we would. I think it would be great.
So too.
Like all our friends and family and Eretz Yisrael, Ola Rego.
Ola Rego sounds like a real show that I like.
By the way, there was a few bar mitzvahs in North Woodmere a couple Shabbosim ago, and everyone was walking the same roads. And I was saying, it feels like Ola Regal, this is what it is. Everyone's walking with their families.
Did you have drinks set up for the passerbyers, for the wayfarers?
And did people make money off that, or was it just like chesed?
They still have it in Eretz Yisrael today. By my yeshiva, I remember we were by Zvel, and people, Umama saw Ola Regal, right? Passing by, and people had tables set up, free drinks. There were porta potties along the way. every few miles was stationed, and people were happy to give drinks. I mean, it's on Yantif usually also. So they're not charging. They're happy to give. Remember we saw in the Gemara that part of having the chelek of Yehuda Binyamin was that they had to give the people. Everyone really is a part of that. So to repay the people, because every shevet really is supposed to have a chelek in Yerushalayim, the way that we repay all those other shvatim is that by Oila Regel, you're supposed to give them free house and board. Remember in food?
I don't remember, but
they have a chelek, so they're allowed to just stay there for the Oila Regel. All right. What are we getting up to over here?
Okay, keep going. Okay, so we said that anyone who touches the waters, they become tamei, and that's the pella, that's the wildness, amazement that Shlomo Melech had. In fact, the Gemara, umazeh tar, but is the one who sprinkles the waters really tahar? It's written, and the one who sprinkles the sprinkling waters shall immerse his garments. Right? You have to. The verse seems to be saying that not only is the sprinkler tummy personally, but he is tummy to the degree that the clothes he's wearing at the time that he sprinkles becomes tummy as well.
Okay, good question.
My mazenageh. What does the one who sprinkles means? It means the one who touches the waters. So so Shlomo Melech was amazed at the one who touches the waters. The ksiv mazev haksiv noiga, but it is written the one who sprinkles, and it is written that the one who touches.
So it sounds like the sprinkler.
They can't be one and the same. And also the one who sprinkles requires immersion of his garments, whereas the one who touches does not require immersion of his garments. 31. If the one who sprinkles and the one who touches are identical, then not only is the verse redundant, but contradictory, since it presents two different sets of laws. For the one who sprinkles is tummy to the extent that his clothes are tummy as well, whereas the clothes of the one who touches are not tummy. Ela mai mazeh, what does it mean, mazeh? Noise. When it says mazeh, it's the one who sprinkles, it means the one who carries the waters. Thus, the Torah is stating in note 32 that whereas one who simply touches the waters become tummy until evening, the one who carries them for purposes other than sprinkling renders his clothes tummy. So that now everything's good. In fact, the Gemara, then let the Torah actually write the one who carries.
Yeah.
My tamik sev mazel. Why is it written the one who sprinkles?
Great
That's
question.
Misleading. Hakamash malan de be'inyan shir hazah. The verse thereby informs us that in order for the one who carries the sprinkling waters to become tameh, we require that he carry the amount needed for sprinkling.
Which probably isn't that much.
Although one who touches the slight amount of waters is tameh, one who carries the waters without directly touching them is not tameh at all unless they contain the amount needed for sprinkling. I mean, why is he carrying it if he's not? I mean, he's carrying it, so it should have enough. But I guess if he carries it in different batches, he would not become tamei. This accords well with the one who says that sprinkling of the sprinkling waters requires a certain minimum amount. But according to the one who says that does not require a minimum amount, what is there to say? If there is no minimum amount for sprinkling, how can you say that the Torah means to teach that the one who carries the waters is not tamei unless they contain the amount needed for sprinkling? Even according to the one who says that sprinkling does not require share, this means only that there's no minimum amount that must fall on the body of the person being sprinkled upon. But in the vessel, the one carrying it, in order to become tamei, does need a certain amount of share. As we learned in the Mishnah, how much volume must there be in the water so that the need should be to contain the amount needed for sprinkling. Kedei sheyitbal.
Enough so that one can dip Roshei Guvoilin V'Yazeh.
The tips of the stem atop the hydrotalks into it and acquire sufficient water to sprinkle. What is that? What are we learning there?
That is the amount. That is the minimum amount that you would be susceptible to becoming tamei if you carried it for non-sprinkling purposes.
It doesn't say. It says how much volume must there be in the water so that they should be said to contain the amount needed for sprinkling.
Note 37.
Yeah.
The Mishnah is inquiring how much of the water one must carry in order to contract tumah through carrying them. And the amount is the amount that if you dip it in.
Why is there no closed parentheses?
In where?
Order 7.
Send it in.
There's unless.
No, that's it.
Okay, I'll send it in, but the Mishnah's correct. But the Mishnah doesn't say that. It says how much volume must there be in the water so that they should be said to continue
You're right.
not needed for sprinkling.
Yeah.
I guess that's why the Rambam comes to explain, unless we don't really see the full Mishnah. So regardless, the amazement comes out. What is the amazement according to the Chachamim? What was Shlomo HaMelech's amazement?
The amazement still seems to be the same, which is that
the touching.
That a person who just touches this water becomes tameh, which is weird because this is some water that should be matayr. And we did have some
that a person who touches or carries.
So if you touch it, then you become tameh to the point where you also have to wash your clothes. If you carry it, and there has to be a certain minimum to carry it, but you're going to become tameh, but you only have to go to the mikveh that night. You don't have to also wash your clothes.
But when you're carrying it, it needs a
certain minimum.
According to one mandamer, or according to both.
For sure, according to the mandamer, that there's a minimum here. But even according to the one that there isn't a minimum of being sprinkled.
That there is also a minimum.
There's still a minimum
for carrying to become
of how much has to be in there. Yes, exactly.
Carrying. So everyone holds there's a minimum
of carrying. Yeah. Right. So it comes out this whole wonderment of. So I feel like your Rav is going to get up on Shabbos and say the chayk, the kohen who would sprinkle the tamei person would become tamei himself, and you could be like, that's only Rabbi Akiva. The Chachamim, who is probably the majority, says no. It's only if you touch the waters.
No, according to Rabbi Akiva, if you sprinkled on a tahar person, that he becomes tamei. That is the amazement.
Correct, but okay. What about this scenario? The kohen, who's tahar, is about to sprinkle a guy who's tamei. He goes, he picks it up for the purpose of sprinkling. He sprinkles him. Does that kohen become tamei, according to the Chacham or the Rabbanan?
No.
Neither.
If you're sprinkling it on a tamei person.
Tamei person.
Oh, the person's. Oh, I'm sorry. The person who's actually sprinkling.
Yeah, the kohen. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. Everyone's doing a job here.
I didn't write it down, that answer, because that was more of like a sidebar.
No, I'm saying, and that is what is supposed to happen, right? The guy's tameh. He wants to come to the Beis Mikdash. He wants to become tar. So he needs the mixture on him. When the kohen does this procedure, I recall that this is the amazement, where the kohen who's performing the service.
Are you doing this Yom Kippur?
So, hold on. Are you doing this on Yom Kippur?
Because remember, the Gemara started talking about...
Right, that you should do it because...
To prepare. And then we said, it can't be like Rabbi Akiva, because you're going to become tamei.
Right.
According to Chachamim,
now,
you're not going to become
when
tamei.
I asked that question, was the Kohen Gadol was the one who was receiving the sprinkling?
It was being sprinkled on him.
He wasn't the one.
He wasn't the sprinkler. Kohen Gadol's not the sprinkler.
Right. I don't think so.
Right.
Correct?
Right. Yeah. I think.
And why were they doing that? They were doing that because just in case he's tamei, we want each day before the 7 days to make sure.
Right. That wasn't for his preparation. That wasn't to prepare him to become better at the skills.
Exactly. It was to make sure that he's tar. So my question again is: a kohen who sprinkles the water on a tamei person, does the kohen have to go into the mikveh afterwards? It's become tamei from this procedure.
Does the kohen have to become tamei? Does the kohen have to become tar? According to one for sure. I have to look.
Because now I'm thinking, maybe not. Rabbi Akiva's big amazement was that it's when you put it on someone who's already tahar, that person becomes tamei. And in the Chachamim, it's that if you carry it or touch it for purpose.
No, the sprinkler.
because we're now teaching the pasuk of the one who sprinkles, right? Shall immerse his garments. That's only talking about if you're carrying it not for the sake of sprinkling. Remember?
Yeah, I feel like that. It's interesting because
this is what the rabbis, when they get up on Shabbos day, talk about the chayk. I feel like that's what they say. And now my question is that actually even true?
That what?
Is there an opinion that the Kohen, when he's doing the avodah of sprinkling this water on a tummy person, does he become tamei according to Chachamim?
The sprinkler.
Does the sprinkler become tamei? Now we're saying no, it's written by someone who's carrying it, not for the sake of sprinkling.
Yeah, I think so, because it says initially, the one who sprinkles requires immersion of his garments, whereas the one who touches it. Yeah. Not only is the sprinkler tamei, but his clothing's tamei also.
Okay, so now I'm looking back at note 32, I think is the answer. And I think this is within Rabbi Kiva. Or actually, I don't know who's this within. But it says thus, the Torah is stating that whereas one who simply touches the waters becomes tamei until evening, so that would be the kohen, because he has to touch the waters.
Mm-hmm.
The one who carries them for purposes other than sprinkling renders his clothing tamei as well.
I'm not sure if this is only it might be according to everyone. This is, or not. Maybe it's only according to the Rabbanan. I'm not sure. And we have a few more lines as we turn to Yadalit and the Bays.
Okay.
Above, the Gemara concluded that our Mishnah cannot reflect the view of Rebbe Kiva, since according to Rebbe Kiva, the fact that the Kohen Gadol is sprinkled with ash mixture during the week he is sequestered would render him unfit to perform the avodah during that time. The Gemara now reconsiders this conclusion. I believe it was Rav Chisda who said that it can't be Rebbe Kiva. Comes along the Baya and says, whoa, Rav Chisda, I feel Tema Rebbe Kiva. You can even say that our Mishnah reflects the view of Rebbe Kiva. How then could the Kohen Gadol perform the avodah if he has become tamei through the ashes of the Parah Aduma? The Abed avodah kula Yoma, he performed what?
I'm just thinking, what would I say? Oh yeah, because that's clearly his view, right? Okay, sorry, continue.
The Abed avodah kula Yoma, he performed the avodah all day long. Ulafanya madu aleh, and then towards the evening, after he has completed that day's avodah, they will sprinkle the ash mixture upon him. He would thereby become tamei. Just after the sprinkling, he would immerse himself in the mikvah and would allow the sun to set, after which he would become tar again. He would then be fit to perform the avodah once more the following morning. So Rabbi is saying, yeah, you're right. He does become tamei through the ashes of the Parah Aduma when you do that to him. But that ash sprinkling, you know when that happens? It happens right before sunset. So he's able to do the avodah, and then we're like, oh, okay, we're going to sprinkle you to make sure that you become tar. Yeah, but you just made him tamei. You know that? Because if he was tar, you just made him tamei. That's what Rabbi Akiva says. He's like, whoa, see that sun right there? Yeah. Boom, just toiveled. Now it's set. He's kadosh. He's tahar. He can do it the next day. Next day's Yom Kippur. Boom, boom, boom. Chicka, chicka, wah, wah.
Nice. Shkoyach.
Okay, so I'm going to hold on to this. I'm going to put this in. What a Geshmakeh piece. So you see why, like, a little bit now I have to, like, and maybe I didn't. I don't know.
Good,
After I did it, I was like, oh, maybe I didn't have to do this. But it is.
Only because he did that. It feels like he didn't have to do it.
The next piece of the Gemara is going to talk about during the 7 days in which he is sequestered, the Kohen Gadol burns the incense and prepares the lamps. I saw in a note, by the way, I think it was on our Mishnah. You know the most important part of a karban?
It's the sprinkling of the blood. I also read that.
Yeah. I think it's in a Mishnah.
read it. No, it's, hello. I saw it in the intro, maybe? I think I saw it in the introduction, of like the art scroll introduction.
Here it is. The key service of any sacrifice, 14a-b, note 5. The key service of any sacrifice is zrika.
Right.
Throwing the blood upon the altar. Because if someone stops someone in the street, I'd be like, oh, the shechting, the eating of the karban. What if I told you the sprinkling?
Before proceeding, however, it is important to dispel two common misconceptions about sacrifices. Under Torah law, the essential part of an animal offering is the application of its blood to the altar, not the burning of its meat or fats.
The burning, I didn't even think of that.
An offering may be considered valid even if none of its meat or fats are ever burned on the altar. Anyways.
Yeah, I was telling someone yesterday, you think the most important thing is this. Like, as people, we get very lost in the minutia of things, right? Like after COVID, people were outdoor minyanim. Should we daven nusach, Ashkenaz, or Sfar? Da, 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 da. And like, there was an argument about it, right? Not here, but like somewhere. And it's like, does Hashem really want you to argue about the nusach? Like, bein adam lechavero, v'ahavta l'recha kamocha d'oraisa. And now you're going to argue over a nusach? So it's like, let's take a step back. What's the most important thing here? Is it, the shechting, the eating, da-da-da. Did we do the zrika correctly? And I'll just say one more thing. Chushim ben Dan, he knocked off Esav's head, which has to do with today's 1 second share, which is about Yaakov and Esav. What was it?
They born on the same day. They probably died on the same day.
Yeah, boom. So who killed Esav?
Who killed Esav? Chushim ben Dan?
Chushim ben Dan. Chushim was Dan's son. He was deaf. He sees the brothers, the Shvatim, arguing with Esav as to who is going to take the Mar Samach Pela. And he's looking back and forth. And he goes and knocks off Esav's head. He's like, yeah, Yaakov, go. Question is, what? The Shvatim were holy people. They didn't realize that there's a Shevet, that Yaakov Avinu is laying here with his body. It's Kabra Meis. It's Yaakov Avinu, of all people. And the answer is because he was deaf, he had the sensibilities. He wasn't distracted by what his ears heard and the arguments. And you can get in a fight, someone can get so lost in the arguments. It's like, what's going on over here? Like, what's the most important thing? Find out the most important thing, take care of it, and everything else will fall by the wayside or handled. Call tough. Bye.